I'm working on dyeing some of my papers today. And what I typically like to do is create a hot bath solution for my papers and put it in one at a time. Today I'm working with some yellow legal paper. I know some people prefer to go ahead and just create their bath and then just soak it all at one time and pull it out. But I really don't do that because I have noticed that when I put a whole lot in at one time, some of the pages don't always get the coffee stain or tea stain that I'm looking for. And so I just use a really big tin foil pan, make my solution as hot as possible. I usually have to do a couple of coffee pots and a couple of tea pots a little bit to create the right heat and the mixture, the color that I'm looking for. And as you can see right here, I'm just putting them in one at a time and using my spatula to kind of press them down, because once again, I want the paper to hit, I want the solution to hit each piece of paper. What I've noticed is usually the finished products, sometimes when that coffee hasn't had an opportunity to like really saturate through the paper, it gives a different texture. And in these particular papers, I'm looking for a really smooth texture, but at the same time, something that is a little porous as well. I used the line paper because I really wanted to keep this particular look, but it washed out, and so I really hate that, but at the same time, I'm really pleased with the texture and the look of the paper as it turned out. When I'm working with coffee dyed papers, I tend to leave some of the coffee grains inside of the papers because it adds to those different textures that I'm looking for. I'm one that I really don't rush the process. I know some people, they will wash their paper in the coffee solution and then put it in the oven and let it dry really quick. I'm one that does the opposite. I will put it in my oven sometimes, but I try to let it go as low as possible. And I don't iron my papers. And that's why you see in this particular stack, they're stacked on top of each other so that they can flatten out and add to the texture. Instead of working with the coffee dyed papers in this particular piece, I am dyeing some of the papers pink. I know some people use food coloring, some use Kool-Aid. I tend to stay away from a lot of different things. In this one, I used some of the Ritz coloring, and it did not come out in the same color that I was looking for, but I still enjoyed this color too. You can see me flipping the papers. They are moist. What I do, once again, I am one, I just don't rush my process. I have them on a baking sheet specifically designed to work with my dyed papers and my coffee stained papers. And I put it into my oven on a very low setting. And this may happen for a couple of days, just one batch, believe it or not, just one stack. And what I have to do periodically is, while it is, some of the moisture is coming out of it, I have to take the batch out and flip the papers, because I don't want one piece of paper to become crisp on top, as it has happened to me before. But I do want each paper to equally be dry, but like I said, I don't iron them, so I stack them on top of one another after they've reached a particular moisture temperature, and allow the papers and the weight of them to iron themselves. And it usually comes out exactly the way I want it to. Here's a small demonstration of what I'm talking about. I have a double oven, and I put this in one of the lower ovens so that it can be on low all of the time. And whenever it comes out, I have to take and naturally flip the roll of the paper, but after it's had an opportunity to semi-dry in the oven, I take and I maneuver the pages so that one isn't any more moist than the other. And then I take and I stack them for several days and I allow them to air dry. Now, this process, once again, it is not overnight. It can be sometimes a little arduous. And another thing too is whenever you're working with coffee dyed or stained paper or colored paper, no two pages are going to look the same. That's one of the things I love about it, but at the same time, if you are a person that's selling to your clients and they just want a particular hue of the paper, I'm sure you can kind of figure out a way to make sure that happens. But what I do love about this particular process is whenever I'm working with junk journals or I'm working with scrapbooks, or even if I just sell the pages, a lot of the people that I know, they enjoy the different textures. And whenever I have something that's rough like this, I don't throw it away because I know I can use it as scraps when I get ready to do tags. And believe it or not, some people have actually asked if I could provide them with stacks of colored scraps for a lot of their different projects. So I don't throw anything away. It may not look really good right now, but it's still usable. So if you're a person that's watching this video and you're doing any type of staining or dyeing of your papers, I just want to encourage you not to get away, not to do away with those pieces that may come out. One edge may be a little darker or something may be torn. Because, when we're working with paper and we're dyeing it, and when paper gets wet, it's going to tear. And so you're able to salvage a good portion and chunk of it, but you're going to have those pieces that, they may look like duds, but they're really not. So I just want to encourage you to just create a stash for yourself and set them to the side. And either, like I do sometimes, use them for myself when I'm getting ready to work on a collage or tags or something else, or sell them to your clients. So I wanted to just go ahead and kind of talk about my process about dyeing and staining my papers. I just love the fact that I just never know what I'm going to end up with. I love the different textures. I just love the feeling of being able to do the paper and seeing what I'm going to end up with in the long run. Like I said, if your clients are looking for a particular color, you know how to kind of go ahead and finagle it so it can be that. But these are the pages after they've been stacked on top of each other. And like I said, I just want to encourage you again, please don't throw your scraps away. You can always use them for yourselves or your clients. And I want to say thank you so much for tuning into our channel. And I hope that you enjoyed what you saw, and I look forward to seeing you again. Thanks so much.